Being the youngest of seven is kind of been a challenge for me. As far as because when I grew up with my mom and dad, everybody else was kind of like out of the house. So it was me and my dad and my mom. So my dad decided that he wanted to take the palm tree out of the backyard. Do you remember that, Dad?
I do remember.
You do?
A couple of palm trees.
Yes, it was a couple of palm trees, and he decided that he was going to teach me the value of saving $1 and working hard. So, Angela, come outside with me. I'm going to start getting this tree out, and you're going to kill all the bugs because we don't want the look at a black. We don't want the cockroaches in the house. So, at all costs, you got to get these cockroaches. So I'm like, okay. And then he gives me my weapon of choice. Do you remember what the weapon was? A broom. A broom. My dad gave me a broom, and as he pulled the palm tree out, it was my job to whack the cockroaches. It wasn't just one. It wasn't just two. My last estimation, it was probably 300 coming at one time. Yeah, you see? It was. And still to this day, I have an aversion for cockroaches. So it's hard for life.
You did a good job, though.
The second story that I have is with my son, Mark. And my dad kind of took Mark under his wing and was going to teach him everything that he needed to teach him to be a man. So today's lesson was how to install a fan. And look at Mark's face, he's still shocked. So my dad and Mark went in to install the fan in his bedroom, but there was a problem. We didn't turn off the electricity. And so Mark, look at Mark, yes. Mark was up there, and all I heard was a zip, zip, and my dad saying, "Oofa, oofa, let go, son, oofa." So those are my two memories. Who wants the mic now? Yeah. I got you beat, girlfriend.
Okay, so I am, or was, the black sheep of the family. For many reasons. And in high school, my mom and dad brought two beautiful vehicles over from overseas, a Fiat 850 and a Volkswagen bus. Well, the Fiat I took one day and was a stick shift, and on one day on the way home I thought, okay, I'm going to see if I can drive a stick shift with one foot. And I was pulling into my dad's house. Yeah. Well, the one foot did not go on the brake, and I smashed right into his garage. And that was my mom's car. Jesus Christ, Joanne. And not too soon after that, I went to a Frank Zappa concert. And on the way there, my dad says, make sure you stop at the gas station and get water in it, I think it was. It was air cooled though, I can't remember. Whatever, but I told the guy at the gas station that's what I need. That's what it was, something, oil. Okay? So I told the guy at the gas station back then, you have people, who check this stuff for you. Went to the concert. On the way back on the Howard Franklin Bridge, I hear, boom! Next thing I know, there's pieces from the motor, I kid you not, flying past me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So we got hold of my dad, and him and my poor brother Joe came out in the middle of the night with a garden hose and the Fiat to pull me off the bridge. And I think I ruined both of their cars in probably a year's time. So those are the memories of my dad, but when I saw him come out with the garden hose, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. Who's next?
I'll go next. I got some good ones. I don't even know where to start.
I don't know where to start.
Look, me tell you one thing about Frank. Frank is cheap, okay? He's so cheap he squeaks, I'm telling you. I've never seen a person so cheap. Because I said, we had this big mahoa tree in the backyard. So we had all of us kids, every one of us. Yeah, and kid. I said, Dad, just buy a chainsaw. Why do I need to buy a chainsaw? Y'all work for free. So he gave us all axes to cut down that mahoa tree. Yeah. Let me tell you what. Another time. This was when weed eaters first came out. He says, well, you just get this grinder, put some fishing string on the end of it, and you can weed eat. So I'm sitting there with a grinder, trying to weed eat. It didn't do real well. Man, I got so many stories to tell about it. The best one, though, we were working on my car. And we were he was adjusting the carburetor. Hit the gas a little more. All right, so I hit the gas a little more. He's over like this. Boom! Big flame comes over top. He lifts his head up. His head is smoking. His eyelashes are burned up, and he goes, wow! Huh? Oh, that was the Torino on that one. That was the Torino. No, that wasn't the Javelin. That was the Torino. So anyway, those are my stories. Who's next?
How about the Torino when we took it down? We sold it.
Oh, that's another story.
Down there in the ghetto, and we had to go down there and take the license plate off.
Yeah, I remember that. And then what about the one being young, being dumb? I was driving down Park Street. There was this hot chick, I'm telling you, she was hot. And I was like, what? And you know that curve right there in front of Admiral Farragut? This was before cell phones and all that stuff, guys, so you don't know about this. But I went, I knocked out both tires on the right-hand side. She was hot, but let me tell you, that cost me 2 tires. So I had to go knock on somebody's door. This is before cell phones. And say, hey, I got a flat tire. So I called my dad. That's right. And I said, Dad, I have a flat tire. Well, Jesus Christ, just change it. I got 2 of them. He said, how the hell do you get 2 flat tires? So that's another story I was thinking about. All right, who's next?
I bet Dave's got some.
Come on. Oh, kid. If you don't tell it, I'll tell it. The tree. Cutting the tree with the ladder.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. That was the best.
I put my pants on this. We bought a house out on Park Street, and we had this beautiful limb that came down off the oak tree right around the front door there. And Robert decided, and Dad, that we should probably trim it back. But then, no, they decided they're going to cut it off. So now I had a branch way up here instead of way down here. Well, over the years, that branch got bigger and got heavier and it kept coming down. So Dad and I are going to trim it. He thinks that one should just come all the way off. And I'm like, well, you know, Dad, it's got this branch over here with heavy leaves, and then you got that big branch. Maybe we should cut this side off first, and then cut that big branch. Well, that's a pretty good idea. Well, we put the ladder up here. He puts the ladder up there. He said, let me move the pickup truck, because I don't want branches to come down the pickup truck. Okay, you do that. He's going up the ladder as I'm moving it with the chainsaw. And I hear this noise, I hear, oh, shit! Down comes the ladder, I'm standing here, the ladder's coming at me, right down on my feet.
Right.
I fall to the ground, I start blacking out, and I'm worried about him because I know he's on the other end of the ladder on the ground. Chainsaw. Luckily, the chainsaw was off now. So I'm trying to get out and get over to Dad. I feel like I'm gonna pass out because I can feel my feet throbbing. I'm like, Daddy, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I landed on my wallet here. How are you doing? Yeah, my feet really hurt. I think I need to sit down. Well, okay, I'll go cut up the tree then. I'm like in agony with my feet. To this day, I still have feet problems. I can only wear orthotic shoes now, thanks to that wonderful experience. Thanks, Dad. What? I do have one. Who was it? Mark with the electricity. Remember those days? Think you would have learned by the time you came around? And I've seen Dave up on the ladder. Frank, did you turn the electric off? Yeah. Dave came flying off the ladder. But from now on, Dave and I know how to check the electric first. Okay, who's next?
Hey, let me add a story because Rocco and Joe want to tell this story, and they won't. But this is a Rocco and Joe story. So I don't know if you guys know it, but for about a year or two, I lived right directly across from them. And so Rocco and Joe thought it would be a good idea to get the remote control from the car, and they were sitting in the garage across the street. And they go bonk, and the thing would go up. Then it'd go back down, and then up, and then they were sitting in the garage, right? And they were looking across. And my dad comes out, and he's watching this thing, and it's going up, and it's going down, and it's going up, and it's going down. And then all of a sudden, he goes in the house, and he gets Mom. And so both of them are standing out there, and they're tink. It's just one of those moments you have to have been there, because I'm telling you, we're trying not to laugh across the street watching them, and they're trying to figure out how this garage is going up and down, and up and down. So that's the Rocco and Joe story. All right, guys, come on, somebody else. I got it. Josh. And another story real quick. He says he doesn't snore. We've recorded it numerous times.
We'll keep this one short. But long story short, I don't eat fish because of this. So we were fishing off the back of Grandpa's dock, and it was an old dock. And you catch it, you eat it. I caught probably a pinfish. It was a pinfish, probably about the size of Grandpa's hands. I remember when we held it, the tail was just a little bit longer than his finger. So we were barbecuing at the same time. I remember we just threw the fish on the barbecue. And I think I did try one bite of it. And the rest of it boomeranged into the golf thing. But we didn't do nothing to it. It was just on the grill, on the plate, with a fork. And it was, long story short, yep, eyes boiled. Yeah.
Other days.
Yeah, those were the days. But I can eat fish lately, but it has to be severely battered in milk for days, and then fried, and then
No head.
yeah, no head, no eyes, cut like a hamburger. I'll never actually. A lot of you probably know our situation when we were younger, but Grandpa was probably the most solid thing that we ever had. Me and my sister and my brother. And I'm just happy for your birthday. I'm happy for you. Happy to have you. Thank you for all this. As crazy as it is, as crazy as it seems, I just, when you, I don't know, I didn't really pay attention, I guess, when I was younger, but when I sit back with my own family and I look at all this, it's crazy.
Good job.
Give me one, give me one. And we love you. Somebody come take this, or else I'm gonna look worse.
I'm Mary Jane. I'm third out of the 7 kids. I'm kind of a Georgia condition. Right? I was glad y'all kind of touched on the sentimental things, because I was going to start out lying with that. And one of the things, the strong memories that I have of my father is how he stood by my brother during his illness. My brother Robert died 18 years ago, but throughout all the times, every time he had a surgery, my father was there. Well, my mom wasn't going to all the little way in California, so I'm not saying, I'm not taking away from mom. I'm not taking away from mom, okay? Now, this is your roast, okay? When it's mom's roast, we'll talk to her. And he was there, and he was eating things up. It was harder to find things on the internet and things like that. But he was looking it up in books and trying to find a way to help my brother make it through. And I think we gave credit to Dr. Olsnick for him making it that long, but I think my father was a strong contributor to that. But my funny story is one that I've already shared with a couple of people. We were in Naples, Italy. My father had a bright green Plymouth. It wasn't a dull green, it was a bright green Plymouth with big tail fins. All right? And we were at the recreation area in Naples, about 10 miles from home, when the Plymouth got stuck in reverse. So my father's great idea was to drive this humongous bright green car with fins backwards through the streets of Naples. So us kids are in the back, and he keeps telling us, duck down, so I can see where I'm going, And actually we looked out, we saw all the Italians looking at this crazy American driving down our roads backwards in this huge car. And so I was happy to duck down. I was like, oh, please don't look at us. We don't know this person. It's happening in this car. So that was my funny one for my father.
I remember that too. I do that, I don't know.
I don't know either. But we were asking why,
Mary Jane, you could have added to the one, because it was on your birthday, when we were driving through the house.
I don't know if that was funny or not, though.
Oh, I think that's funny. We're driving up the.
Runner pass.
The Brenner Pass.
We're driving to Switzerland, the Matterhorn. We're going up the Matterhorn. So we're gonna go to Liechtenstein.
Yes.
But I was telling you all the little countries, right? And going up, this is August 21st, Mary Jane's birthday. And we're going up this mountain, huge mountain. And we're about 3/4 of the way up, and it starts to snow. Really snow. It came down really so much, I could hardly see out the windows. So the kids were getting a little excited, like, at least I thought so. I said, kids, I need some help, but I know it was in a microbus. that if I ever stopped with that light bus, I'd never get started again, because it took the light being. So I said, look, kids, I need your help. Blow on me in the windshield. And they're all, we got up to the top, and I start going down, and of course, about halfway down, there was no more snow. But that little thing going up over that peak, I knew that if I got stuck, I never could start again. And it was cold. This was August 21st, 1960. I was like 56 and 16, 19, what, 1974?
No, so we came back and said.
No, let's see, 56, 66. It was your 16th birthday.
No, it wasn't my 16th.
No?
I celebrated my 16th year in the States.
Oh, okay. Whatever it was, maybe it's okay.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, that's how we got up over the mountain. They kept the kids busy too.
I think it's like 14.
Huh? Yeah, I think it was on.
All right, you go. Who's next?
Got no stories?
Who's next?
Maybe we had enough.
We've been going all day.
I like Mary Jane mentioned about Robert. And I also would like to mention what Chip did. One operation, I remember, he had to go there early in the morning. This is in San Diego. We left about 5 o'clock in the morning, got to the hospital just before 6. They took Robert in the operating room. Chip went in with him. Of course, he was a little nervous because they were going to take the top of his skull. So they get in to get the tumor that he had at that time, an anaplastic astrocyte tumor. Anyway, Kip sat on that chair, held Robert's hand from about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then it got to the 12th, but they said it would take about 4 or 5 hours. Well, 1 o'clock came, 10, 2 o'clock. Next thing I know, it was almost 5 o'clock. I'm getting a little concerned. I walked in the operating room, and the guy was very nice. He says, can I help you? I said, look, my son has been in here since 8 o'clock this morning, and we haven't heard anything about him. He took me in there, and I saw Kip sitting in a chair, holding Robert's hand. That's for 8 hours. He was giving that, couldn't go to the bathroom. No, I remember that. I also remember something else.
They gave me M&M's. And they played Beatles music for Robert.
Got through it. And not only that, the next day, without the skull, when they were going to do some radiation, I think it was, but Robert and Kit went to the zoo. The very next day after that, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it the next day? We both went to the zoo. Fantastic. Okay, here you go.
My story isn't really a funny story or anything like that, but I remember Grandpa getting a new cordless phone in the house. And I don't even really know what I was doing, if I was on the phone or not, but I remember breaking that phone. And I remember Grandpa coming to me and saying, well, just tell me the truth. It was scary. I was just a little kid, you know? And I think at that moment, I learned a lot about integrity and being honest. And you taught me that. And I appreciate it.
And I owe you something. Chris was 5 years old. I was smoking my usual cigar, sitting on the couch. And she said, Grandpa, why don't you stop smoking? And I said, for you, I'll do it. and I haven't smoked since.
Come on, guys.
Joe's got-
Let me pull my chair up. All right, well, my dad and I, first of all, in sport, I'll talk about sports first. My dad was my coach as a youngster, and we had some tremendous experiences in that. We had for instance, a basketball team when I was in the 5th and 6th grade that was very short.
Okay, so we're not going into the memory.
Anyway, and we were in a championship game, and we were not expected to win. The other team had the highest score in the league. They out-heighted every one of us. And my dad, was our coach, and we were able to hold that other team down, right?
Yeah, because that guy Mike, the other team,
Yeah.
player,
Yeah, Mike Hart.
was the son of the coach,
Yes.
and he always brought the ball down the left side.
Down the left side of the
That
thing.
you and Tommy Cobb, I told you, the boxer, at that time,
Right,
if you went over the line and then went back, you lost the ball.
right.
That's how we kept the ball from. And through the whole game, that guy kept dribbling the ball up the left side and just where at midcourt, you
Yeah.
and Tommy Cobb.
So we had, so that whole, that
And then
whole,
go back to get away and we lose the ball. You never once said the other thing, said don't go down the middle.
Well, anyway, what happened was, we had prepared for this guy, because he's the high scorer in the league, and we put 2 of us on him, including me, and in those days, I was hot-headed, and I guess I calmed down my older age, but anyway, I was talking him some smack anyway, all the entire game, that he wasn't going to, score more than 10 points on us, and everything else. Anyway, it came down, they were beating us 27-26, and there was like, I think there was 8 seconds, something like that left. And my dad called this play, it's called the Four Horsemen, where you put 4 guys together, and we split in different directions. And
The
so,
4th guy walked down,
right,
the other 3 went out, yelled, give me the ball.
yeah,
And they all got around those 3. Yeah, by that time, the other guy walked down the court, side of the court, under the basket. You passed it to him, and he shot the.
yeah, so what happened was, that's what happened. So he threw the ball in, and the ball went to me, actually. And I was thinking about scoring, but I saw this kid underneath the basket. His name was, I think John Campbell was his name. He had never scored a basket for us the entire season. He had never scored. And so, anyway, I almost hesitated, but I passed it to him because he was completely clear under the basket. And he made, the only basket he made that season, won the championship for us, and we won 28-27. So that was a tremendous one. But, I've got some other stories that I have to share with you too. One was my brothers and I, Rob and Mike. Mike reminded me of this one. He talks about him being frugal, and that's true. He decided he wanted to fertilize his lawn. And so he gets us together and he looks at us and he goes, yeah, you guys can go down to the sanitation department and, they have the dried up poop, caca, down there. And we looked at him and said, what? So I remember we go down there with Rob and Mike. And we go down there, and when you go down there, it's like, dried up stuff and pumps, and you see, I'm gonna use the big word, guys, prophylactic, dried up prophylactics in it, and other stuff like that. Anyway, so we got buckets, and we brought them back, and that's how we fertilized the lawn that year. And I remember I'm looking at my mom, and my mom had this face on her, like, what the heck? The other part of that story is, I went like this.
That's right.
My hip started growing.
Yeah, sorry, start growing back. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Now, I got another one about being frugal. Probably Rob or Joe would get a kick out of this one. Grandpa just said, you know, our dock's getting pretty messed up, so we need to do something about it and put new pilings in there. So again, he looked at my brothers and I'm the least mechanical of the brothers. I readily admit that. But anyway, so we all go out on this dock, and we're going to put these little platforms and put cement in. And by the way, he didn't want to buy the sand for it. We need to go down. So we went down to the Zanzibar, where we were cleaning the restaurant at that time. And we got the sand off the beach, illegal. And we put it in, and that's what we use. It still had the seashells in it and stuff like that. But anyway, we're out there on the dock, and we're trying to do this. And the platform collapsed, and all of us fell in. And there were seashells, all of us got cut up, right, Mom? You remember that? Mom had to stitch all of us up. You know. Anyway, as far as the farts thing, Bo talked about us playing golf. He used to do that when we would tee off. Too. Especially if we were winning. We go to tee off, and all of a sudden you be in your backswing and you hear brink, and the ball going. That was another one. Another story that I have with my dad was I bought that Volkswagen van from my dad, and I had just driven to the Panhandle to visit my drummer in my band. And when I came back, my dad said to me, I hadn't had it a year, and he goes, "Have you changed the oil on this thing?" I looked at him, I said, "You mean anything that's not the oil changed?" And he looked at me, and he goes, "Yeah." I said, "I thought it was an air-cooled engine, didn't have any oil." Something like that, anyway. But I didn't know anything about that. But anyway, some of the other really good stories. My dad, when we were in Verona, on the first tour, was a member, I think he was vice president of the Holy Name Society, right? Vice president, yeah. So I used to look forward to going to Sundays with my dad because we would go to church, and there was always this great breakfast like the Frog Pond afterwards. At least I thought it was like the Frog Pond. That's what it seemed like to me. So, yeah, that's right.
Either that or
Castelvecchio, yeah. So we would go there and yeah, that's right. And the other story I liked my dad was when we all got together recently, and he looked at me and he said, "You see how much damage two people can do?" I'm looking out and there's like 100 people out there, all these kids and grandkids and stuff like that. But anyway, one thing I would say about my dad and for my mom too, they laid their lives down for all of us. And it's really, they've been exemplary as parents, as mother and father. They were always there for all of us. Whenever someone needed something, my dad or something, they would be there to